Oh, hello, sports fans. Welcome to the G. Forbes Elliott Athletic Center for some ACAA men's volleyball action. If you were with us already, you just watched the women's volleyball action as UNBSJ took down the Crandall Chargers 3-1, improving to 5-0 on the year. That is by far the best start for the UNBSJ women's team in probably a decade. They're nationally ranked, and I would imagine with a win, they're going to move up that national rankings. And they played like it today. They played great. In front of us now, we get the men's team. So on the men's side, the setter, we got Liam McClellan. Your powers will be Adam Gauthier and Siefker. Your middles are Gabe Powell and Craig Bartlett will be your middles today. And your right side looks like it's going to be number 3. That's Karsten Fielch. He played middle last year, but it looks like this year he's going to be getting a spell on that right side position. Nice dig there by McClellan. Bartlett steps up and makes a play. And a nice swing there by Fielch to take that point. So a 2-0 start to UNBSJ. Let's look at this Chargers starting lineup. At middle, we have number 12, Noah McDonald. And, well, the other middle is being liberoed out right now, so we'll put a pin in that. Their setter, number 19, that's Evan King. He's a first-year setter from Newfoundland. They called that set out on the line judge, but the head official overrules, as is her prerogative. Setter, Evan King. Our power hitter is number 10. That's Liam Rafferty. He's a second-year player out of Riverview, New Brunswick. That ball was passed by the other power, number 14. That's Francois Benoit. How's that for a name, Francois Benoit? He's a first-year outside hitter from Dieppe, New Brunswick. I wonder if there's any relation to the other Benoit on the women's team, who's also from Dieppe. A couple really nice serves from Craig Bartlett here to start the game as the Seawolves get off to a 4-0 lead. Oh. They called a lift on that, eh? Oh, we're back. We got our boy. I took away your standing mat. I'll go grab your standing mat. Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Dave Monroe. I'm back here having a little chat with Natasha Kelly, the athletic director. Everybody's proud of the women's victory earlier tonight. And looks like the Seawolves are off to a nice start here.
Yeah, a couple really nice serves by Bartlett. He just took a spell on the bench as the libero comes in for him being a middle, but really nice serve from him to start. That was an awesome serve by number 6. Or maybe it's not 6, it's 8. I apologize.
We were saying earlier, it's great that great to see the Chargers and Dal AC in the conference. It really strengthens the conference a lot.
For those that aren't aware, for many, many years, at least the last decade, there was only 4 teams in the ACAA on the men's side: UNBSJ, University of St. Anne, the St. Thomas Tommies, and Holland College. Last year, the team in front of you here today, Crandall, was the first team to expand on the league in a long time, making it 5. And this year, Dalhousie Agricultural Campus, Dal AC,
that's right,
also joined. So now that the division is up to 6 players, and that actually comes with some pretty interesting dynamics. In the past, for a long time, when it was a 4-team division, every team made the playoffs. And the way that you went about navigating your regular season was very different than what it would look like now. Since you knew you were making the playoffs, you could afford to lose games and lose points, trying different things.
That's right.
And giving players some reps earlier on in the season and things like that. When everybody's battling for a playoff spot, you don't really have the luxury to take those risks. Every game is important. And it's really added a different dynamic to the league with that expansion.
And so here, here's an example tonight. Crandall's sitting at 2-4 on the season.
Yep.
The Seawolves are 1-4.
Yep.
So it's early in the season, but there's already there's already a bit of a battle going on
Totally.
for those playoff spots, right?
And not only that, but the first tiebreaker for your playoff spot is your head-to-head record.
USTA, they are going to the playoffs. They're 6-0 already.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're very good. So now you've got 5 teams going after 3 spots, basically, right? And we've got Stu at 3-2, Holland at 3-3, Crandall at 2-4, Dell.
At 2-4.
Dell AC Rams are 2-4.
Yep.
So the Seawolves certainly giving themselves a great start here tonight.
Yeah. Not exactly a great start to the season, but a great start to the night.
That's right.
And I think for context, this UNBSJ team has a bunch of talent. They absolutely can hang with the best teams in the league.
They really do, yeah.
When they're playing good. And they're also relying on a lot of young players in their lineups. They have Liam McClellan as their most experienced player and their captain. I believe he's a 4th year this year. But after that, I don't think that there's anybody on that starting lineup that has more than 2 years experience. So, a lot of young players are getting better as they're starting to play with each other more. I've been really impressed by first-year middle Gabe Powell. I think he adds a really interesting dynamic to this offense and to this team. And despite the fact that this team started at 1-4, I think they have really, really high expectations for themselves. I don't think by any means they consider themselves a 1-4 type team. And, I think there's no doubt that they're going to find themselves in a playoff spot come the end of the season and competing for a banner. Like you said, USA is an amazing team. And last year they were the first seed. Come the playoffs, they weren't able to make the finals. And that's the nature of how the playoffs work, these one-game series.
Right.
So it is a bit of it is just making it to the playoffs, and anything can happen. But I don't think the 1-4 record is indicative of what the UNBSJ team thinks about themselves or their competition level.
No, I don't know about all of the other matches because I was busy with the soccer championship, and so I haven't seen all of the matches. But last week, I found one of the issues for the Seawolves was their inconsistent serving, and again, I don't know if that's been indicative of the season so far, but they have some talent. They have some real leapers in their lineup.
Yeah, they do, 100%. There's already some weird things about the way that this UNBSJ team is playing defense. So last year, Karsten Fields was playing middle for them. And typically, your middles aren't exactly the greatest defenders. But he's now been switched to right side. Now, being switched to right side, you still typically don't serve receive. You'll leave that to the powers and your libero. Now, in here, having switched from middle last year now to a right side, last point, he was serve receiving, and they had Siefker pinched out. Now he's backed out, and Siefker's serve receiving, and it looks like there's some indecision in this backcourt about who they want defending this serve receive. I'm surprised that there would even be a question of pinching Siefker out in the serve receive, being that Siefker played power for them last year in spells and is their starting power this year. You're going to need to rely on him to be a serve receiver for you. Good effort there by number 8. That's Bhavesh Bhargava.
Chargers making a bit of a comeback here. They were down 9-2, and now it's 11-7 for the Seawolves. So 5-2 run for the Chargers in the last 7 points.
Wow, nice push by McClellan. And a great job by Siefker to make that work.
McClellan just makes it look so effortless.
Yeah, he's a joy to watch.
That was effortless.
Yeah, he does all the little things well. He can block well. He's got strong hands.
He's a good leader.
Great,
he's a good leader.
Great
out there
leader.
For the Seawolves.
Great decision maker. I think the Seawolves are very, very lucky to have McClellan at the helm for this team.
Adam Gauthier, he was serving. He's right up there for kills in the league.
Yeah, Gauthier can get hot and cold. When Gautier's playing good, there are moments when it looks like he's the best player on the court. And there are times when it's almost a sin to set anyone else on this team. He's playing that well, but he can get streaky. I think that's true of both their powers, actually. The best hitters on their team are Siefker and Gauthier. That's both their powers. But they can both get a little streaky. When they're both playing good, this is an incredibly tough team to beat. But if you can catch them on an off night, sometimes they can struggle to find other options when they have to get away from Siefker or Gauthier.
Well, the Chargers hanging in there.
Yep.
Off to
down
a
5
bit
now.
of a rough
13-8,
start, but
yeah.
they're hanging in there now.
Evan King now back to serve. He's their first-year setter. Holy smokes! But that's what happens when they're good. It looks like that. And also, I'll say, Siefker, number 7, looks like he's been in the gym. I remember last year he didn't look that cut out. Good for him, man.
I'll tell you what, he can leap.
Yeah, seriously, him and Gauthier have all the physical attributes to be like
because in the women's
monsters.
In the women's game, you talked about how if a player can get up over the defensive set and hit it behind.
Yeah, that first level defense.
And he gets up there and is able to do that.
Yeah, the same is completely true of Gauthier as well. When Gauthier is playing good, it feels like you can have your block, have him dead to rights, and there's still almost nothing you can do.
Sam Reeder serving. That's a nice looking serve.
Yeah.
That handcuffed Adam Gauthier, I think, in the back. That was nice looking serve by Reeder.
100%.
That had some mustard on it.
That was Shane Huggard.
Oh, Shane Huggard. That's right, Shane Huggard. Sorry about that.
Dude, this Gabe Powell guy. Where was he the first few games?
Shane Huggard.
That's electric.
The men's game is so different from the women's game.
Yeah.
Women's game, a lot of rallies, the men's game is fewer rallies, a lot more clean kills, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very, very different game. 100%. A good way to look at it, and sometimes it's hard to believe. Men stop playing on the women's Olympic height when they're 13 years old. As soon as they get to high school, the net that they're playing on is higher than the Olympic height of the women's net. So it's a totally different game.
Right from high school on.
Yeah.
Well, the Seawolves are leading 17-10.
Yeah,
that's a good start for the Seawolves. That's the start the Seawolves were looking for.
The Seawolves have to look at this one and say, if we take this, we'll go from being in last place to likely being in 4th place.
That's right. That's right. It's close.
They'll leapfrog Dal AC, and they'll leapfrog the Chargers because they're going to have the head-to-head versus the Chargers.
The Seawolves have only played 5 matches so far.
Yeah, 1-4 to 2-4, right. And because of it, like the men's game is a lot more explosive, which lends itself to less rallies innately. And when you do have those rallies, they are absurd. You really have to work hard to have rallies in the men's game. What was I going to say? I'm ecstatic to watch more Powell because he was in. I know a lot of the coaching staff. I played with or for almost everyone that's there. And I feel like I'm fairly tuned into the comings and goings of the team. I scrimmage with them here and there, so I know who's good and who's not.
So you still jump on the court from time to time?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah?
Show the boys how it's done. When teach by doing. When I called the first 2 games this year, though, that's in. That's a bomb. When I called the first 2 games this year, though, I mean, we saw Ethan Tucker, we saw Bartlett, we saw a little bit of Fields, we saw Cam Willis, but we didn't see any Gabe Powell, and he has been, well, I'm excited. He's not only had that big hit that we saw, but he's done a couple of other little things really nicely and made himself an option for his team.
First-year player, 6'5".
Dude, explosive. Even on that one, he got so far off the net and opened his chest up and basically did an approach that's similar to a power approach.
But what we're seeing is we're still this is only their 6th match, and he's already being inserted into that lineup, right? So,
yeah.
So obviously the coaching staff is seeing the same thing you're seeing.
Yeah, I would be. I mean, I'm excited to watch the rest of the game and see what his total game is like. See what he's like as a blocker. You know, see what his body language is like when things are good and when things are bad. Those kind of things matter. But that stuff aside, strictly just looking at upside. If I'm the head coach, if I'm head coach Dino Karatsios here, I would be hard pressed to be starting any other middle all year other than him. Because one, going into year 2, these reps are going to be important, and 2, I can tell already, you know, knowing this squad, that ceiling-wise, he's got to be up there as far as the highest ceiling of any of these middles in the team.
Those are big compliments from a player that played in the conference, knows the conference, knows that bodes well for him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of game recognized game. Having played the game, it's pretty easy to see talent and upside when you see it. And wow, what a push! What an absolute volleyball play by McClellan and Gauthier there.
Gauthier can bring it.
Seriously, you got a ball in his wheelhouse when he's jumping high and hard, and it's pretty hard to stop it. But you know, all that to say, because watch, I think he's got a nice serve here too for Powell. We got to get him some better socks. He's wearing gray socks. He's a first-year player. The veterans on the team need to talk to him about that.
I think I'm colorblind because they look black socks to me.
Yeah,
but
if they were black, I'd let him off the hook.
I don't know. They look.
Trust me.
I think we probably could debate that for a while, but it doesn't matter. He's off the court now.
Yeah.
And you're not a fan of black socks on the court?
No. If they were black, I know that you can't see it. I'm telling you, they're gray, and that's a sin. Get yourself all black. Get yourself all red. Get yourself all white. Gray looks like you missed the bus.
Well,
either way,
the
7-point lead here.
20-13.
Yeah.
Oh
wow, nice play. Huggard was last year was Crandall's first year in the league, and being your first year in the league, there are some things that are pretty typical of teams like that. You know, they usually have very short benches. Typically, the level of play is a little bit less in that, you know, it's your first year as a team. You're taking the players that you can get. And that's so funny because last year when you looked at this, it was all ones.
That's right. Now it's
basically all twos and another class of ones coming in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rookies. So they're building the team. They're building.
And last year, you know, they didn't have the bodies to use a libero the way that they wanted, and you know they didn't have a lot of chemistry together. This year, you know, second year of the system now. They got some guys with some experience in the league. They got another class of rookies to play on their team together. So a lot of good stuff. They said the setter touched the net. But all this to say, last year, when the level of their ball probably wasn't as high as even they would expect themselves to be, you know, pretty naturally being your first year in the league,
right.
There was no question that number 14, Huggard, was their best player on the team.
Well, if they can surround Huggard with a few more quality players, they're
I think it looks like they have. I was watching their hitting warm up, and you know, it's one thing to be able to hit a ball very well in warm up versus hitting a ball very well in game, but they have guys with some upside, and some talent.
They are having problems with receiving those smack, like the kills of the Seawolves, Gauthier and
Siefker. Well, that's what we said. When they are playing good, they're right on. It can be tough, man.
But you look at that. I mean,
that honestly, that's a nice play by Noah McDonald.
That's a nice.
Let me tell you why that doesn't really blow my hair back. That's a meter ball. That's not a quick. We watched McDonald float through the air there and hit that. It ends up being a nice explosive hit. It's a misplay on defense by the Seawolves, but really, it should be something the Seawolves should eat up.
Okay.
If you're not running a quick middle set at this level,
it should be blocked.
It is a little too slow. Now, sometimes you can get yourself favorable matchups by, you know, setting it in tough situations or always setting power and then sneaking in the middle. But I would like to see McDonald be in there a little quicker. Fields just fired up after that one.
Filch getting into the action here.
I was going to say,
24-16 now for the
it's
Seals.
surprising to me that Filch is the choice to be out of right side here. There's a player on the bench, number 5. That's David Valencia. He's a left-handed right side hitter that has all the ability, can jump out of the gym. When he hits it, he pounds it. He's got a really nice spin serve. He's a really high upside player. I've actually always wondered why we don't see more court time from Valencia. But other than that, we had seen a lot of already this year. We had seen a ton of Huseman, of Jacob Huseman playing that right side position. When they decided to move away from Huseman, it's surprising to me that the first person to fill that role was Filch and not Valencia. Because Huseman was, Filch last year was a middle. That first set kind of came and went pretty quickly, didn't it? Everything coming up,
really
all things St. John, yeah.
Zipped along for the Seawolves. You know what? I want to do this early in this matchup. We waited a little bit later in the women's match, but I want to do it early.
Let them know.
Let's congratulate the Booster Juice Athletes of the Week. Why not, right?
Yes.
We've got Kate McLeod. She had a
she could win it again.
She's vying for
the back-to-back.
That's right. And so they'll have some tough choices for Athlete of the Week on the female side this week because she's right in the running again.
Totally.
And what about AJ Nash? I mentioned on the men's basketball team, I mentioned that if you haven't seen him play, you need to get out and see him play.
AJ Nash.
And he's not the only guy that you need to see.
Yeah, you were saying you're bullish on this basketball team.
Bullish. They have a good team. They have a really good team. And so
if you're watching the channel you're on at UNBSJ Seawolves, hit subscribe right now. You got about 5-6 months going forward here of awesome ACAA sports that'll be streamed on here all the time, specifically on the weekends, but sometimes some weekday games too.
Yeah, like tonight.
And that same handle is the same handle you should be checking out on Facebook and on Instagram.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And you know what? I want to talk about the sponsors as well.
Yep.
Because there's a good group of sponsors for the Seawolves. We've got Culligan NB, UNB Associate Alumni, Centaur Products Atlantic, Domino's Pizza, UNB St. John students get 50% off online orders.
You don't just have to be a student.
The code
they never check it.
STDNT, all capitalized.
I haven't been a student for 5 years, and I use it once a week.
You haven't been a student for 5 years?
How crazy is that? I've been out of school longer than I was in school.
That is crazy.
Oh, it makes me sick.
That's crazy.
I know.
You know, if it makes you that way, think about how it makes me feel.
Dude, I actually think about this all the time. It feels like time is flying right now for me. I can't even imagine what it's like for my parents. They just must blink and it must be 2026.
We've got a couple more custom general contracting and Booster Juice East Point location. East Point location. I know that's a little bit of a tough one for you, being on the west side.
Eastbound and down, loading up and trucking. Bartlett now back to serve. He went on a nice streak last time. That's up. Oh, nice touch by Siefker. Unfortunately, they're not able to chase the rest of them, and that's going to go down and give the point to the Chargers. So Chargers now. 1-1. Back to serve is number 9. That's number 9. Is that Huggard? Or no, that was
number 9.
That's Reeder.
That's Reeder. That's right.
Yeah.
That's Reeder. And of course, Luke, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Courtney Bell for making this production possible.
100%. Courtney makes this all go. Nice serve by Reeder. Oof. That's some quality ball. That is some quality ball, ladies and gentlemen. That's a really good job by our setter, number 19, King, of knowing where his options are and finding the one that results in that play. Going back to the server on that one. That's tough. That one is one of those hapless jobs where it really is tough to go up and get that ball where you're supposed to get it. and you're always expected to do it. And the times that you miss, it makes you look silly. But a good effort there by Siefker. It's not easy.
Well,
maybe,
maybe the Chargers are just getting warmed up. They were watching the women's game, sitting for a while, and maybe they're getting their legs here in the second set.
Bargava going to send that one. Oh, so that's not Bargava, actually. Oh, my God. Dude, that was...
Liam Rafferty. We talked about UNBSJ having leapers. They've got leapers.
Seriously, that's exactly what I thought watching their hitting warm-up.
Wow.
I said these guys may be a young team, but dude, do they ever have talent? And
and you give a young team confidence like that, and they can run rough.
100% they can, and you can tell by the body language of the players on the court. They definitely believe that they have the the ability to hang with this team and even take it to them like they are.
Well, you said it earlier. You have to believe you can win the matches, right? Otherwise,
totally.
You can't win, right? You're already beating yourself if you don't believe you can win.
Yeah.
Well, Seawolves, they won the first game. That's I think that was important to get off to a good start tonight for the Seawolves.
Yep. Yeah, they kind of brought the hammer down in the first one. But credit to these Chargers here.
But
not coming out flat here in the second. Already up to a big lead. Spearheaded by a nice performance here in the second by Sam Reeder. He's had a couple goodies.
And I don't think there's anything to worry about this early in the season. I think you've talked about the Seawolves being a potentially contender team when they're playing their very best. So,
well, that's the nature of the playoffs here. You gotta get to the playoffs and then win 2 games. It's actually there's a lot more margin for error in letting a team get hot and going. And you don't need to be the number 1 seed per se to be the one winning it.
No, that's right. But the Seawolves don't want to fall 2 games behind the playoff teams in the win column.
No, yeah, you never ever used to be able to say this about the ACAA, at least on the men's side, up until the last 2 years.
That's right.
But we're in November, and this is a huge game.
That's right. That was never the case before.
Net call. Oh, we got a replay called by the second referee. He said he blew the whistle early, which obviously impacts the way people go playing the point. And despite the fact that it probably looked like Crandall was on the attack there and likely going to win the point, looks like they're going to replay this point. It's funny. Remember we had this conversation the last game.
We did.
And it's the same official.
And
credit to him.
Call.
Yeah. And we basically said exactly that, is that in those moments it's tough as the ref to say, hey, I made a mistake, but we do have to replay this point. But that is probably the nature of the most pure nature of how the game should go. And credit to our official there. We have his name here. I should give him his flowers. Oh no, it's not written down, unfortunately. Credit to the official, saying, hey, there was a whistle that shouldn't have been blown. It changes the way these guys have played the point. We got to replay it. So back now to serve is number 12, Noah McDonald. Noah, second-year middle out of Riverview, New Brunswick, 6'5", tall glass of water.
Yes, he sure is.
Nice hands by Filch. They tried to go to the pipe there to Gauthier. Unfortunately, the net's a little too high from on that one. Head coach of the Chargers here, Garrett West, having a moment with his setter, King, talking to him about something he sees out there. You like to see an involved coach, you really do.
Absolutely.
Filch just volleys that one over. If you're going to play outside hitter, Filch, I need you to get a swing on that.
Chargers have sprinted out to a 9-2 lead.
Yeah.
After losing the first game. So that's we're kind of talking about the inconsistency you've been talking about with the Seawolves. When they're really good, they're really good.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
They have lulls like this.
This Powell guy, dude, he's an option. That's a double.
Well,
Powell making the work. What a touch by McDonald. Oh, my goodness. That's out. Really good job by Liam to keep his touch clean.
That was a good take by Evan King to let that one go out because I think he thought about going for it and he let it go, and it was out by a fair bit.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, this team can be streaky. Like I said, when guys like Gauthier, wow, man, he's just such a when you're as big as Powell is and can jump as high as he can, you make setting the middle so much more viable and easy for your setter. On the flip side, like I was saying about Gauthier, when he's hot, man, there are very, very few defenses in this league that can hang with him. But he can get a little streaky. Like for example, I think his last 3 hits are all errors, which is, it's fine. He's a volume swinger, and you want your guy swinging a lot. It doesn't mean that we're going to start going away from him. But when you do have those moments where he's in a little bit of a lull, you can find yourself in games where you're starting to get down.
Right.
Nice swing by Gauthier, and he's fired up about it too. I like that.
But he just needs to keep swinging, right?
Yes,
he just needs
100%.
Needs to keep.
There are certain players and certain archetypes of swingers that you will always say just keep swinging. You're a volume swinger. The more swings you get, the better it's going to come. You definitely don't want them second guessing it and starting to tip and do change ups, and that's certainly the case with Gauthier. But Chargers bringing it to UNBSJ right now.
That was a good hit by
Seriously.
Benoit.
Was that Benoit?
I think 14. I think it was.
No, 14's Huggard, isn't it?
Francois Benoit.
Dang. Okay. Oh, Huggard's 8. That one trickles over. Rafferty gets a little bit lucky on that one. Sometimes better be lucky than good. Fields digs that one up.
Crandall has a big lineup. Big lineup. Rafferty's,
number of players, you mean? Or height?
Like height.
Yeah.
Rafferty is, 6'4". They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 guys that are over that 6'4" or more.
Dang, nice swing by 18. 18. Kyle Barnes. You're on my radar now. 6'4" from Gander, Newfoundland. Far from home. Chargers holding on to a comfortable 8-point lead. Benoit to serve. Good job by Gauthier. He doesn't give Liam McClellan the best pass. Makes it a little bit tough for Liam to go chase that one down, but makes up for it by putting away a tough set. So McClellan now back to serve, and McClellan being back to serve means that at the net we have Bartlett, we have Gauthier, and we have Siefker. Which usually means that's a rotation that you want to go on a little bit of a run for. Unfortunately, Chargers side out on the very first one and drop the bomb. I'm noticing now that we've had a switch where Siefker is playing right side now. Siefker is your right side, and your 2 powers are Filch and Gauthier.
Did you know that we have 6 provinces represented in this game?
Really?
6 provinces.
What are we missing?
We've got
BC.
We've got BC.
No,
We've got Saskatchewan. We've got Ontario. We've got Newfoundland. We've got New Brunswick. We've got Nova Scotia.
Dang.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. So I guess my point is we need to welcome everybody that's listening in, watching the live stream tonight from all those different provinces.
Credit needs to be given to head coach Dino Karatsios. He's done a really good job of branching out what the recruitment program looks like for UNBSJ. When I played on this team, we had 13 people from New Brunswick and me. And I'm from Ontario, so that was, and I walked on. So
what part of Ontario are you from?
I'm just outside of Toronto. I'm Barrie.
Barrie, yeah.
But I walked on.
Yeah, right.
So it's it was basically like the whole team was local to New Brunswick.
Right.
Whereas now, Ethan Tucker's from Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Karsten Fields is from BC. Gauthier is from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Or Saskatchewan. Siefker's from Ontario, Bartlett's from Nova Scotia.
Right.
And those guys we named, those are all contributors.
They are. Oh, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So, credit to Dino Karatsios for kind of branching out the program and building what the recruitment process looks like for UNBSJ. Too high.
And I would say the same thing with the Crandall lineup. Even in the second year of the program, they've got obviously players from New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Saskatchewan,
Nova Scotia.
I guess that's it. Nova Scotia, that's right.
Yeah.
So
But still, growing program. It's good to get some out of town boys. Good by Bartlett fighting at the net there. This one's just got to go over. The setter for the Chargers, King, he actually has a really nice tempo to his sets. It might not be obvious if you haven't played, but there's, it's a very hittable ball. It's a very hitter-friendly set. Now, on the flip side, he just got overtopped by Siefker blocking, and I wonder if, to some extent, that's a little bit of a weakness that the Chargers feel about themselves. I would be surprised if they ever. That's a fine touch. Yep. Here we go. King having to grind.
Yeah,
I would be surprised if they ever consider themselves to be in a strong position with King as their primary blocker.
But you're right. The last couple of sets, nice soft hands.
Yeah.
Just.
And it's like watching a quarterback that always throws the hard one versus the quarterback that knows how to kind of feather in some throws with some touch and such.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there that I saw last week. Seawolves had started to grind a bit of a run going,
Yep.
and then they dump one into the net.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should go back and listen to me calling these games the last 2 years. It feels like it's always been the case. And I kind of opened that can of worms in the last game when I talked about how you can't make a comeback if you can't make a serve. You can't.
No, absolutely.
You are unable to string more than 2 points together if you can't make a serve. And it's kind of always been something that's plagued UNBSJ. It's a really big block there by Crandall as well on Siefker. That could have been a big point for them, make it 10-17. 7-point game's not great, but it's a lot better than almost being a 10-point game now. That's off the hands. Nice.
– 18-10 Crandall in front, second game. Seawolves won the first one.
Bartlett now to serve again. 8-point game. Yep. No need to say it. Into the game comes number 12. We should mention that to start the game we had Bhavesh Bhargava, but now we're seeing John Benfica, first-year libero out of St. John, New Brunswick. Hometown kid. Crandall returns the favor.
Give it right back, yeah.
As Reeder puts, or sorry, not Reeder, that's Huggard puts that one in the tape. Siefker with a nice one.
Oh, he's got a good serve. No question about it. He's got a great serve.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So it did look like Powell might have touched the net, but we had our head referee here, our first official, call that there was an illegal touching by the setter to start.
Siefker has a great serve. When that ball goes in, it's a tough one to handle. That's a good one.
That's tight. Yeah. Yeah, and Liam McClellan knows what happened. That's
Benoit can get up there too. They've got a bunch of guys that can.
Definitely, their hitting warm up. It was pretty obvious that if you give them a free ball, you're going to find yourself in a tough position. That one, because the pass was actually so tight to the net, probably less tight than the Chargers would have wanted. It actually works to their advantage because in trying to fight for that ball, McClellan and Powell jumped with that middle set. And they had an unblocked hit on the outside with Benoit.
They're a different team. Chargers are a different team here in this second game. A little bit more flow to their game, a little bit more relaxed in their.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of taking it to.
I say that's a positive thing.
Yes, definitely.
That's not.
Trouble. Shout out to number 5. There's something to be said about the libero that hits the ground even when they know it's just dutiful. Austin Treitz chasing after that one. We used to have a head coach when we played at UNBSJ named Kyle Blanchard that said if a ball is going to hit the ground, there better be a jersey hitting the ground.
That's a good philosophy.
It's good mentality.
It's a good mentality. It shows the other team.
It shows your team. Hey, boys, I'm in there.
I'm in it. It also shows the other team.
Yeah, 100%. Never die easy. And that's actually what it is. And I kind of was alluding to that when I mentioned a dutiful dive. You know you're not going to get the ball, but you are communicating something by doing it. Fields now to serve. In what has, kind of become a closer game than I think it felt very recently.
16 now.
We got a timeout there by head coach Garrett West. I like that time to call a timeout.
Would you have called that timeout?
Yeah, I think so,
this?
and I'll tell you why. Is that this can start to snowball. You know, you just lost 3 points pretty quickly. 3 points can become 6 if you just let things go. While you still have a lead, you take this timeout and just call it the breather timeout. Make sure that everyone feels good. You know who you want to go to once you come out of the break and who your hitters are and have a good idea about that. But really just try and stop some momentum. Maybe you can get yourself a lucky point and force a missed serve by calling the timeout. But by the same merit, you know, if you're a UNBSJ, you're still down 5 and you got a mountain to climb here. But the Chargers calling that timeout also is communicating that, you know, hey, we're losing the reins here a little bit and we're trying to pull it back in. Now you're still up 5, but if you're UNBSJ, you got to slightly smell blood in the water here a little bit.
Right. Well, as they say, I'm with you, not against you.
Yep.
On that one, on that.
But it starts with a serve.
Explanation.
Starts with a serve. You got this first one's got to go in. I don't care if you underhand it.
And he did.
Perfect. Just give yourself a chance. Oh, good try by Siefker.
Benoit's kind of come into his own here in the second.
That was 14 out there? Yeah, they have 3 really good outside hitters.
He's been the hot hand here in the second game.
Benoit, Huggard, and Benoit, Huggard, and Rafferty can all kind of give it to you.
Oh, that's that looked like a tough serve to handle.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit out of, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that number 10 would tell you that Rafferty would tell you that he slightly mishit that as well. That was a spin serve that came out like a knuckleball. But a broken clock's only right once a day. So Powell now back to serve. Into the game comes second-year player Craig Bartlett. They got a big front line here. They'd like to go on a run. If you could rattle off 2 or 3 points here, everything's different. It's up. Nice push, man. Seawolves going to run their offense. A little bit sloppy from both teams there, but Seawolves are going to take one.
Seawolves are slowly clawing their way back into this game.
It's a 5-point game. The dynamic of the game feels closer than that.
It
but
does.
To Crandall's credit, they only need 2. So there's very little room for error here if you're UNBSJ. Fields with a play.
Wow, what a play.
This just got to go over. Oh, see, Bartlett's got to turn around and make that play. That's coming right over your head. And your position there is only going to mess with where Gauthier is trying to be. I think you wave him off there and just poke that over. As it stands now, 6-point game, no room for error with Crandall at 24.
And that's it.
No room for exactly that.
No, exactly. So 25-18 for
Crandall. That was pretty near what the score was in the first set too, for UNBSJ. So
1-1.
Credit to Crandall for rallying after a bit of a slow start in the first set.
We've got a good match on here tonight.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Of course, the Seawolves women went to 5-0 in the first match. 5-0 for the Seawolves.
5-0 for the
Chargers
women.
In 4 this time. They didn't have to worry about going 5 because that fifth set, that's a pressure set, isn't it? I mean, that's anything can happen.
Pressure makes diamonds.
0208318. Do we have any more takers? 0208318.
Right. So 1-1 now. I'll be interested to see if we get any changes in the lineup. It looks like nothing on the UNBSJ side except for a switch at libero. Back into the game is number 8. That's Bargava. Oh, I apologize. That's Barvesh Bargava.
Tale of two cities so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seawolves came out on fire and really made the first set look pretty easy. And Crandall, they put some undue pressure on themselves at the end, but they came through without too much.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah.
Is that a Tale of Two Cities?
It is.
It is?
Dickens.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
know, what else did Dickens do? Christmas Carol?
Great Expectations.
Christmas Carol?
Christmas Carol.
All right. Bartlett now back to serve. Clean slate, 1 apiece. A little moment exchange there by Gauthier and his setter McClellan. Wow, look at that. Fight. What a dig. Oh, and it was on Powell. Doesn't look like Powell had any disagreements with that call. Good job by the referees.
So what was a best out of 5 to start tonight is best out of 3 now.
Quick little best of 3. Nice pass by, holy smokes, Siefker. Nice pass by Bargava, and then a nice job by Siefker putting that one away. Siefker and Gauthier. This team lives and dies with their performance. When they're playing good, it's hard to beat them. When they have down sets, you know, it's almost the opposite. It's kind of easy to walk through this team. And to be fair, that isn't really to say anything particular about the way the team is constructed or the rules of Siefker or Gauthier. For any team, when your powers aren't playing good, it's pretty darn hard to win a volleyball game.
When yeah, that's right. When your best players aren't playing their best, you're right. It doesn't matter what team it is.
That was a little sloppy. I like the idea of McClellan going back there, but just off timing between him and Siefker on that one, and that one's going to go into the net. So an early 2-point lead here for Crandall. Back to serve is McDonald. And Fielch makes it work there from the outside. Fielch now back to serve. To the front court goes Gauthier. Front hands, McClellan up there with Powell and Gauthier. That's a pretty big starting lineup. If Fielch could make a couple of serves in a row here, Seawolves could go on a run. Great pass, but it's tight. Ooh.
Chargers have some big players too.
Yes.
They match up. Both teams match
No
up
doubt.
big.
Yep. Rafferty, number 10 now back to serve. You're in a good position if Rafferty's the third best hitter on your offense.
That was a clean hit. Clean cross court.
The illustrious. That ball sneaks through the rafters. There's a million different scenarios where that ball touches the rafters in that situation at that height. Seawolves get lucky and
snuck through the rafters.
And Gauthier makes sure to reward them for that luck and puts that one away to bring the game to just within 1. Powell's been serving nicely, man. Bartlett with a big block, and Bartlett's fired up about it. I'm really intrigued by Powell's game, and I'm really intrigued by Rafferty's game. These are guys I don't know if I've seen as much as I'd like. I think Rafferty was here last year. But Rafferty's one of those players where when the set's good and there's no block there, he can hit a really, really impressive ball, and he's really fun to watch in hitting warm-up because of it. But I'd like to see him get some more sets that are maybe, those high, hard balls where the defense has him dead to rights. And can he hit that hard-driven ball to the back line? Or does he only have that, like, straight-down, big hit speed? I've played with guys that can jump out of the gym and have these amazing attack angles, but don't know how to almost turn it off. Don't have a changeup.
Right.
And there's no doubt, having watched him, Rafferty's full speed hit when he's got a matchup or the middle's late, he can send a ball to Pound Town. But
we hear that all the time in baseball. Pitchers, almost every pitcher can.
You're not going to be able to get away only throwing your fastball.
95 to 100. That seems to be the range now for every pitcher.
And right on cue.
Yeah.
I apologize about that. Right on cue, Rafferty with a really, really nice C ball out of the back court, which shows more of that range. You can't hit those balls straight down. Siefker with a bit of a smile on his face. He knows he just whiffed on that one. Because of how tight that was to the net, I don't even think he had a blocker. You can tell he's looking at his hand. He probably got one of those jams on his finger from swinging a little bit too early. That one's just going to have to go over. Chargers going to run their offense here. And Siefker makes up for the last one with a big swing.
(7-6), close first, close third.
Huggard had something to say to the ref there. It seemed like he wasn't sure about maybe some sort of touch that happened during that rally. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything that would have been worthy of confusion. But as soon as the point was done, McClellan and Huggard went over to the ref. So obviously something happened. Nice pass. Good job. I think McClellan would kind of want to have that set back. I don't think that he would have said that he put Siefker in a great position in his wheelhouse, we'll say. But great job by Siefker, making something out of nothing there. I like to call those kind of people, and I always say this about Gendron and Robichaud on the women's team, those are garbage men. When you need to take the garbage out, they can deal with it for you. When you're in a tough position and you have to throw a setup to somebody, they can deal with it for you. Great job by Gauthier sending that out to the right hitter in that situation. And then Gauthier chasing it down. Nice job. Wow. What a push. Fields getting a nice high, hard swing on it. This one's just going to have to go. Oh, no. What a swing. Oh, and Siefker. That's twice that Siefker. Now, that one a lot harder. It's on two. He's approaching it from a different angle. That's a really hard to execute play, and I'm not trying to pile on him, but twice now he's had a ball right in his wheelhouse, it felt like, and he swung just a little too soon, and it's hit off his fingertips. And if you've played any volleyball, or at least at a high level, you know what that feeling is like, and it's so frustrating because really it means you're getting a little antsy. And you didn't wait and breathe and hit it when it was in your wheelhouse. You tried to get at it a little bit too quick, and I'd like to see Siefker just settle down.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to Crandall for scrambling. They did a lot of scrambling on that point, and they were rewarded for it.
Cardinal sin by King there. I know it's so tough. It's so counterintuitive in that situation to say, I can't touch this. This isn't my ball. But you really, as a front court player, or at least in that situation, someone that was near the front court, you really shouldn't be reaching backwards ever, and especially if you're the setter, because you're the guy that's supposed to be getting the next ball.
Right, and if you're on the ground,
so the guy behind him is playing defense,
ball, right?
And he's sitting there waiting for it to hit him in his platform, and unfortunately King reached back and touches it and puts it to a spot where nobody is. Bartlett with a missed serve. Unfortunately, Seawolves not able to capitalize, and Chargers now back to serve, but return the favor.
I see a few of the former Seawolves making their way into the gym.
That's a nice pass. Handled well by Gauthier. Going to have to go outside the field here. Nice high, hard swing on it. Pound town.
That's one thing I like about the culture that the Seawolves have, and that is that a lot of the alumni guys stick with it. They really support the present team, and
Seawolves going to run their offense here. Dude, Powell flies up there. You got to get him into that next. You got to get him into that next area code. I don't want him getting blocked in the middle by 18. 18 can't jump with him. You need to set him higher there. Yeah, that's a good job. Well done, Fields. Earlier, I kind of gave Fields a hard time for not going and getting a swing on a high, hard outside ball that I thought he needed to. And he does a good job there of getting aggressive on a ball that could have easily been an overbump. Puts the pressure on and forces the error on the Chargers side. So now UNBSJ with what I think is their first lead in a long time.
11-10.
Fields with a nice serve, but handled well by the Chargers. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that's completely in rhythm. The offense worked where it left Rafferty with only one blocker, and he is just a pleasure to watch when he has that chance.
You really got to like Rafferty.
Yeah, yeah. There's a handful of Gauthiers in this conversation, Seekers in this conversation. There's probably 2 or 3 guys in the Chargers that are in this conversation that when it's that situation, when it's a good pass,
yeah,
and you see the set, and then you see who's coming in, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a bomb. You almost don't even need to watch it. And as you can see there, I think that's definitely true of Gauthier. But credit to Rafferty, I think he's one of those players as well. Don't let him get a swing in rhythm.
The Chargers have some players, and they have some good players now. I think the Chargers' challenge right now, from what I can see, is their defense. Sometimes I see a little bit of flat-footed play on the defense. I don't know if that's if you see any of that, but a couple of times they've looked a little flat-footed.
Yep.
Haven't reacted quite on their toes, ready to move. It's more of a flat foot. If the ball comes to me, I get it. If
kind of stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
Good eye there by 14, Francois Benoit. Good eye, mate. Nice pass. Bartlett flies through the air too, man. He almost spends a little bit too much time up there. I'd like to see him pike a little earlier, but it's hard to argue with the results. McClellan now back to serve. Siefker coming out.
Valencia's coming in.
Okay.
David Valencia.
Yeah, I mean, so he'll be going in and he'll be going and playing right side, which is his natural position being a left-handed player.
Yeah, and that's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Ooh, you got to call that. If that's not a double. Nice job, Gauthier fired up. And I like the energy that he brings to the team during those. He's trying to be a spark plug for his guys.
Second-year player, Florenceville, Bristol.
Yep.
Oh, that's a well-placed serve. Not hard.
Eating up. It's got to go back to Gauthier. Yep, I love it. Tip. I love it.
The Seawolves are starting to find some
get some rhythm.
Open gaps here in the Crandall defense.
All it takes is 1 or 2 really good passes to start build some rhythm on offense. Start clicking along here. McClellan, very consistent server, is going to put them in good positions here. And now we got 3 offensive hitters at the net. Obviously, as soon as I say he's as a consistent server, he misses. To any of McClellan's family listening at home, I apologize. I'll put that one on me.
It's just like clockwork.
Yeah. 18 now back to serve. That's Kyle Barnes, the first-year middle. Nice serve. That's tough. McClellan tries to go back there, being that it's a bit of a tough pass. Typically, you'd imagine he would go to power there, but I think it probably does weigh on his mind that his power hitter right now is a left-handed hitter, meaning that he has to push it about 3 or 4 more feet to the outside to get it in his wheelhouse.
Barnes, a first-year player.
Yep.
I like the Chargers' resolve, but I think this particular set, I have noticed that they need to get moving their feet a little bit more on offense and be ready for those tips and be ready to keep that ball in the air, right?
Yep. Live
off
just
the floor.
live to see another point. Yeah, they were. That's a crazy choice. Fields with a winner. Yeah, I mean, Crandall was up early, and they let UNBSJ back into it. And it was one of those things when UNBSJ tied the game up, it felt like UNBSJ was already up because it kind of felt like it was slipping away from the Chargers. And since then, it's been back and forth. UNBSJ has pulled ahead now by 4, and it kind of does feel like UNBSJ, all the momentum in the world is on that side. I think, honestly, this timeout came a couple of points late for me. I think I call this timeout when it's even or when it's maybe when UNBSJ is up or down by 1. I think you wait till you're down 4 when you were already up 5 earlier. And this is one of those ones we talked about the last game where if you're the coach, you want to make sure you're keeping things light and there's no sense of panic or urgency or anything like that. But it's hard to not, face the truth of it in that there's 7 points left for UNBSJ and you're down 4. It kind of does need to start now.
Well, Seawolves have been coming on strong here. It's 18-14. Chargers looking to get a couple of points back at least just to get back in this thing.
Yeah, let's look at it here. So we have Evan front court, Evan King, their setter. We have McDonald the front court, and we have Shane Huggard front court. So if you get a good pass here, now they run a nice backcourt offense. So if they like Benoit or if they like Rafferty here, they can do that. But I think if they get themselves a good pass, if I'm King, I'm throwing a nice high outside ball here to Huggard and letting my guy go to work. Ooh, wow, a lot of funny touches from both teams there.
There's your man right there. There's your man right there.
First touch. First touch does a nice little crow hop into an offset that he drives over the block with enough topspin to come down in the back corner. I'm a Valencia fan. I really am.
Well,
I said it last year in the spells where we got to watch him play as well. I kind of thought naturally this year he was going to slot into that right side spot for sure.
Well, based on that last play, I can see why you're a fan of his.
Well, Benfica with a nice play. Oh, it's so close. It's close. So close. If we were playing tennis, they would have shown you a funny little cartoon review, and you'd see that it missed by 2 inches. But I do think that Lions judge Paul Scott got that call right.
She was right on top of it.
Yep. Fields with a nice touch.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Valencia.
Andy's fired up about it. I like that, man. Be a spark plug. Bartlett now back to serve. Into the game comes Powell. So we have 3 hitters at the front court. We got Valencia, Powell, and Fielch. Whenever you have 3 hitters versus your 3 setters, you want to go on a run here. This is when you should be on the offensive.
Seawolves have put themselves in a good position here in the third game, 21-15. Looks like a Crandall timeout.
Yeah, last timeout we had, it was 14-18. And coming out of that timeout, it's been pretty much strictly Seawolves since then. Now a 6-point lead in a timeout. It's pretty impossible to hide the urgency if you're if you're Crandall here. You know, it's kind of got to happen. It's got to happen now. You only got 4 points room for error. You got 10 until you can see the finish line. You're in a tough spot. It's going to start with having to make a pass here. So that's when we talk about these timeouts getting more strategic. You look at, you know, who do they have blocking? Who do they have it in the net? Where's our serve receive? What kind of serve are we getting? You know, it's Bartlett, it's a float. Okay, do we want to shift anywhere? Where does he line up? Where should we put our best serve receiver? All these things are things you should be considering at this moment, because you can't go out and, you know, have him serve down the seam and you guys get confused. Now it's 22-15 and it's basically over. You need to make sure that you have a good plan coming out of this timeout, and that if you can side out, you make your next serve to follow it. Those should be your tenets right now. So you look at the net, you got Filch, you got Powell, and you got Valencia. Valencia is the new guy. They probably haven't seen a lot of him. I would imagine that's where they want to go. Also, you look at who they have at the on the front court right now. Kings back court, so they got 3 swingers. They got Rafferty, and they have Huggard. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes here. They go Rafferty, who goes off the hands of Valencia, kind of like we thought would happen, and are able to side out. So now it's about making those serves.
So they get a point, and now they have a chance to go on a little bit of a run.
Just put the first one in, give your defense a chance to make a play, and anything's possible. There you go. Look at that. See? No. I mean, like, it might be the right call. I think it was probably closer to the right call if McClellan had intended to try and touch it, but he didn't.
Now, he might have come down on the net there.
No, the call wasn't net. The call was interference. I was just about to say, you know, that's the benefit of just getting your serve in, is I thought that was going to go to the Chargers, and then I think it was going to be 21-17, and we were going to be in one, but a net violation, or, you know, a plane of play violation is going to give the ball back to UNBSJ. Yeah. So oh man,
That's in.
Yo, that is sick. I'm such a Valencia fan. When I would scrimmage with this team too, we would go and he'd go back and serve, and he would rattle off 4 or 5 of these hammer spins in a row against us, and I would just think, how is this guy not getting playing time? Maybe that's how.
No, but that's a powerful serve.
Seriously,
he can get that serve under control.
You know, it was down inside the line by a quarter on the other.
I like the way he serves.
Yeah, and you know what I also liked is he got that ace, and then he went to the crowd and hit him with the Steph Curry sleeping celebration. Put that game to bed. I like that. He's got confidence. Into the game now is number 13. That's Cole Wilson. The give and go. That's touch. Oh, it is a touch. And we got Paula going to call a touch here too. Yeah. I'm a Seawolves alum. Obviously rooting for the Seawolves. Spirit of the game, that ball definitely got touched, and a great job by the referee using the referees around her and make the call. I think she just had a moment with the court captain for Crandall, number 8, telling the players and also the coach, listen, the process is I make my call and then I can utilize my refs to make the right call. We don't need you losing your mind until we know exactly what happened. Fields with a touch, but get that garbage out of here, said Rafferty. Hold everything. If I'm head coach Dino Karatsios,
Rafferty.
I give him 1 more point.
6'4".
They have 1 more point, and then I'm going to call a timeout. If they take 1 more point, we're going timeout. Good job. Nice. Weather the storm. Give your boys 1 more time to side out there. Great swing by Fields to take it over. Fields going to reward himself going back to the service line here. Out of the game comes Wilson. Into the game comes McDonald, only for him to come right back out of the game for the libero Trites.
That's a nice serve.
Ooh, that's tough, man. Yeah.
That's it for that. 25-19, Seawolves in front.
So UNBSJ.
2-1 for the Seawolves.
UNBSJ does what the Chargers did in the first game. Battled back from a loss and looked much better the next set to weather the storm and now make it 2-1. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our 2024-2025 season partners. Without them, none of this is possible. So thank you to Culligan NB. Thank you to the UNB Associated Alumni. Thank you to Centaur Products Atlantic. Also, as we've said many, many times, thank you to Domino's Pizza. They are offering 50% off all pizzas for students using the code 50STDNT. 50STDNT. If you're not a student, they don't check. You can just still use the code. It's pretty much unlimited 50% off pizza. 50STDNT. Also, Custom General Contracting and Booster Juice at the East Point location. We would also like to take a moment to congratulate our Athletes of the Week. Kate McLeod from the women's volleyball team was the Athlete of the Week last year. She also had an amazing game tonight as the women took down Crandall in the game earlier. And AJ Nash on the men's basketball team have both earned themselves, I believe, a free booster, or sorry, a free smoothie from Booster Juice. So you love to see it. All right, so we have on both sides, as far as I can see, we are getting the same lineup we've been rocking with. Doesn't look like any changes across the board from either team.
Well, you know things are going well when Andrew Bates is sending that big booming voice through the gym here. He gets fired up.
He does. He's got a good voice.
That gets everybody fired up.
King with a nice serve. Dang, man. I'm not going to lie. I was close to saying that I'm surprised that the third outside swinging option was going to end up being Fielch. Maybe it was my bias of having seen him as a middle last year. That's kind of how I pigeonholed him. But I was just thinking that, you know, I would imagine it would have been Siefker or Valencia playing that other outside position opposite Gauthier. But, man, Fielch has done a very, very serviceable job in that spot. Very few errors. I don't know how many, points he's taken over per se. But he hasn't ever sunk the boat. He's had some winners. He's done what the teams needed him to do, and I've been impressed by his game today. So Valencia back out. Siefker back into the game. It looks like, let's see. It's hard to say what position they're rocking. I think they probably have Siefker at the right side. And they have Fielch and Gauthier as your powers. Siefker out of the right side. Oh.
Well, the Seawolves have a chance, up 2-1 here.
Yep.
They have a chance to take care of home business, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can win your home matches and take some on the road, you're gonna be in pretty good shape.
Yep.
But you want to win at home. Everybody wants to win at home. That kind of goes without saying, really.
Protect this house.
And every team's in the same boat. They want to win in their own building, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, we'll find out if that's going to happen. It's 3-2 for the Seawolves. The fourth game.
Fields now back to serve. Okay, cool. So that means, yes, we have Siefker playing right side. Nice hands by King, man. Yeah, Rafferty's got game. I don't need to see any more. want to see Powell get involved here. You get a good pass here, I want to see this go to 14. No need. Better to be lucky than good. So back now to serve is Powell.
And the Chargers, I mean, this is, like we're saying, this is only their second year.
Yeah.
You look down the roster, every player is at 2 or 1.
Yep.
Because it's, so they're going to have their growing pains. Like, you know, and they've proven tonight with hits like that.
Yep.
That they have a lineup of the future. Like they can really come together as a team.
Yep.
But I think their defense, you know, can use some work as the season goes along. They'll have to get better on defense.
Yep.
I think.
Defense is always something I've always thought too, is just gets better and better for teams as the season goes on.
Right.
It's almost
That's
like
right.
it's almost like a reflex or like a muscle that just needs to be trained. The willingness.
Well, the thing about volleyball is there are 6 moving parts on the court, right?
Yep.
So to get all 6 players in sync, that's quite a task.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of quick movement, a lot of.
It's also a sport where at the high levels, like at these levels, weak links can sink your ship.
Oh yeah.
In high school, you have 2 or 3 good players, you'll have a chance. But when you get to the higher levels, it's not exactly about having great players. It's about having no bad players, no weak links. Because other teams will find it and then make you have to run your offense through them and the way that they approach you, and it just makes it so tough. Gauthier now back to serve as UNBSJ nurses a 1-point lead here in the 4th set. For those that have joined now or recently, UNBSJ currently leads the game 2-1.
Seven 5 Seawolves.
7-5 Seawolves.
4th game.
After the error from Rafferty there. How tall is Rafferty? 6'4". Dang, that's a tall glass of water.
They've got a tall group of players,
Yeah.
and so that alone, if they can start to get in sync as a team, and they're going to be tough.
Ooh. I thought there was going to be a net call, but it was a tip into the antenna. And a nice little lead here to start for UNBSJ. Seifer was fired up about that one. Something that's really fun about playing right side, it's the position that I played basically forever, is that you get to be the guy that's your assignment is taking care of their best hitter. You're always blocking their best hitter. And it's actually a very fun, it's a fun little challenge. The matchup between a right side and a left side is a classic battle. Nice battle there by Barnes, first year middle out of.
I like the commitment.
Gander.
I like the commitment from this Crandall team.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like the way they're competing and playing hard every point.
That's a testament to how they're coached.
It
We
is,
were saying earlier,
absolutely.
Garrett West has got some fire for it. Also, worth noting, in the assistant coach spot, I don't know why they don't have my man listed here, but Tyler Dworon, former UNBSJ Seawolf, sitting in the assistant coaching position for those Crandall Chargers, wearing a snazzy white 3/4 zip on the bench. If you're listening, Tyler, it's nice to see you, brother. Nice push from Lillian Cullen.
Benoit had a good dig, but they just couldn't get that ball.
Yeah, a bit of an errant set out there to Huggard, and unfortunately for Huggard, he's got to go chase that, and he's gonna take a hitting error for it just because he touched it.
Shows you that stats are imperfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice serve by Bartlett. That's something that we never did when we played, and I wonder if only I was only 5 years ago, and I wonder if only 5 years is all it takes for that to be a bygone era. But when we played in the league, there wasn't a single team that had like organized celebrations for things. Maybe we thought we were too cool.
Well, maybe you didn't want to celebrate until you won the championship.
Job's not finished. King now back to serve. We've done one full rotation here in this set, and through 18 points, UNBSJ up 2. Siefker. Those are the ones we talk about, where it's the pass is good and the set is good, and then when you see the set and you see who's going through the air, you go, oh, this is a money. Siefker, I feel like Siefker has probably had a little bit of frustrations this game. I'm not sure how many of those balls he's got to really tee off on as much as he'd like. Extremely, extremely talented player. Sui.
He caught the
yeah,
line
he did.
on
Yeah,
that serve.
that's why he hit his celebration. He's also one of the guys in this team that likes to celebrate the most, and I appreciate it in the guys. You know, do it gets your head in the right place. And when Siefker's playing good, he really is an incredible player. So it's good to see him getting a little bit hot here. When
he's playing good, he's definitely a potential all-star in the conference. No question about it.
Bro. You really could have made the argument that he should have won Rookie of the Year last year. Him or Gauthier. I don't think either of them did.
Oh, what a play.
Wow. This one's just got to go over. Nice field by Trites. Nice dig. Go outside here to Fielch. Oh, I don't know. A good try from both of the aforementioned Rookie of the Year candidates there. Siefker and Gauthier trying to chase that one down. Unfortunately, just too hard and too well driven there by 14. I believe that's Huggard.
There's the effort you're talking about.
Yep.
No ball hits the floor.
We got to let that one go. The net's moving. I didn't see any ball touch it. Dude, that's such a tough set. You basically need to set that on a rope. It's basically a perfectly flat set to try and find your setter in the air at that height so quickly. That one, unfortunately, Powell isn't able to get on top of it. He pops it out the back. And what was about a 4 or 5 point game just a second ago is now only 1 point. And head coach Dino Karatsios is going to give his team a little breath here.
One thing the Seawolves are doing well, and that is keeping the ball in play if it goes above the pillars.
Yeah, they've gotten lucky to some extent a lot today in that they could have, the bounces could have gone different ways, but they've had a lot that have gone up there and found their way down without hitting anything.
Well, it's getting late. The crowd has dispersed. Not quite as big a crowd as earlier. But nonetheless, there are some diehards here.
Yes.
Reminds me of the ninth inning of a baseball game. That's out of reach. You've got your diehard fans who are going to stay right until the final pitch.
I know. That feels like me watching every Chicago Bears game ever. Just putting myself through sorrow. Nice pass, man. Wow. And Fields getting it done.
Well, the Seawolves making a run to get their second win of the year.
Nice serve from Fields. What?
That's a Seawolves ball. That's 14-11 now for the Seawolves.
Who is that? Francois Benoit. I wonder if he knew. I wonder if he genuinely thought that was a touch because he came down and hit his team with a big let's go. And he seemed pretty surprised that that point ended up going UNBSJ's way. Little ball don't lie action there if you're Benoit and you thought that you had a touch on the last one. So Noah McDonald now back to serve. Let's see some Powell here. Oh, tough. Oh, and almost McClellan gets the no-look turnaround block. Unfortunately, it just goes off his hands and down on his side as the Chargers bring it back to within 1. Yeah, I'd like to see some I'd like to see some Powell action here if we get a good pass. Middle. Nope. Tip setter's out. Oh, and Rafferty sends one home. Siefker's in a good position, but just too hard driven for him to keep that safe.
That was a good hit by Rafferty because he was not in the best hitting position. But
no, yeah, he just did the classics.
He made it work.
The two-hand approach. I mean, basically the no-step approach.
He made it work.
Yep.
And he got something on it, too.
Oh. Gauthier tries to bake the cookies a little bit too much.
Seawolf's getting a little sloppy on that one, I think.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that was, when I say bake the cookies, I really just mean that's a guy that had a good opportunity in front of him and tried his best to hit it as hard as he could. Whereas, you know, the 80% swing probably still would have done it there. That's a really nice play by Benfica. It's an underrated tough job getting a setter a ball he can use when it's that tight. And Gauthier jumps over everybody there. That was basically a triple block versus him, and only one person was high enough to reach the ball, and they weren't wearing white. Powell now back to serve. Dead even game. 15-15 here in the fourth. Woo! First-year player Barnesy, all the way from Gander, Newfoundland. Rafferty now to the back, into the front court. Comes setter Evan King. If you're the Seawolves here, you got to start feeding your power. Yep. I don't think that Evan King can block Gauthier.
Well, I think you're.
I think Rafferty presents a bit of a tough problem out there, being as big and tall as he is. Yes. You know, I'm not saying yes specifically, but I think when the playoffs come and when it's time to really compete, there's no doubt in my mind that Siefker's in your starting lineup somewhere. But I'm excited to see some reps from Valencia here. That's tight. That's tough if you're Valencia. The ball being as tight as it was in the middle meant that his middle, Craig Bartlett, stayed home, and he had to try and solo block there. If I'm the setter and I'm Liam McClellan here, and we get a good pass, I'm doing a back set to Gauthier here. Unfortunately, Chargers shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
So Gauthier now back to serve. We are dead even, 17-17.
Yeah, Chargers have just taken the lead again.
I know.
Chance to get up a couple.
One of their better servers. Oh, but UNBSJ gives it right back. Sounds like a broken record tonight.
That hurts.
Yeah, you know what?
It hurts both sides.
It hurts.
Crandall, you know, like.
It hurts more than you realize, too. I think, you know, it's easy to say missing serves is bad for your team, but once you really understand how the dynamic and the flow of the game works, you understand, especially in a game that's 18-18, it's really hard to underestimate just how deflating missed serves are for your team.
That's 4 serves in a row that I think have been.
Yeah, at the very least, I don't know. I can't remember what happened the one before UNBSJ, but at the very least, 3.
3, that's right. 3,
The
I guess
streak ends with Bartlett. Oh, Bartlett hitting the tape. Gauthier not happy with himself, but, you know, credit to McClellan going over there and giving him a good little teammate shake it off here. All good. So King now to serve. A bit of a little pop float coming over. If I get a good pass here, man, I'm going back to Valencia. That's the pass. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
That kid
Does it
can hit.
get any better?
He can hit.
Someone called a bomb squad on that one. Hardwood.
Well, you called it. You called that one.
Valencia now back to serve. I tell you what, I got a spot on my starting lineup for Valencia.
That That is a great, hard cut, top spin serve. That's a top spin cutter right there. Woo! I guess Valencia.
Fire him up.
Valencia,
Fire him up.
He's decided he's going to take this game
Yes, By.
into
Look at
his own
that.
hands.
Look at his boys greeting him coming off. That's good team. That's just good stuff, man. That's sports.
Valencia's just had enough. He wants to take this game and walk it home.
I love it. Valencia playing really good in his moments he's been given tonight. You got to love that if you're head coach Dino Karatsios. The bench runs deep with this team.
Well, and what happens? I mean, what happens with that is, if you're Valencia, and if you're the coach, all of a sudden you can't help but think about Valencia, right?
Yep.
You have.
It makes the way that you navigate and watch practice different.
Some players just force you to put them in the lineup.
Yo, me. I was a player like that.
He's forcing the coaches to say, hey, we gotta think about this guy.
Seriously.
We gotta give him some more touches here.
Yep. The thing is,
we're in the fourth game.
I know.
And he's playing
Quality
without
minutes.
fear.
Yep. The thing is head coach Dino Karatsios is a great coach, and he knows his team and sees these guys every day in practice a lot more than we do.
That's right.
There must be some reason that he thinks that the team has a better chance, going in different directions sometimes. It could be that maybe Valencia isn't as consistent as we're seeing. But the fact is so far he showed a lot of moxie in his opportunities.
He has. He has.
Despite that,
I think that was an important thing that you just said, that we can say whatever we want from up here.
Yeah.
But the coaches see these
No,
players
100%.
every day,
and
right?
it's not his first year on the team either.
No,
So
that's right. So
the staff is familiar with Valencia, and they know obviously what he's capable of.
But what starts to happen with a player like him, some players just keep getting better and better and better.
Yeah, and
eventually
eventually,
maybe his time is coming.
Yeah, and eventually you make it so that you just leave no doubt.
Yeah.
You do enough when you're given the opportunities that you just leave no doubt.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the wisdom as a head coach when you have these moments. You tell your guys, listen, when I give you a chance, I want you to leave me no doubt.
That's right.
Filch to serve with a nice one. 2-point game here in the fourth. It's it probably is a double. I think that's the first double I can remember them calling today.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny to see it now at that time.
It's a timeout. Timeout for Crandall. One last gasp. Timeout. Well, maybe not. If they can come back and tie it or win it, we'll be moving on to the fifth game. So I shouldn't say that.
Totally. This is still very, very doable.
But
something I did want to say, and it's underrated. When it happens, you expect it, but when it doesn't happen, it's very, very obvious. When they called that last timeout and Valencia came out and put a real beauty in after that timeout, that's another example of a guy showing up to the moment. He has a less, he probably has a lower make percentage than some of the guys on the team, being that he has that nice high hard spin serve, but he came out of that the timeout and nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. All right, Filch now back to serve. For the the Chargers, you have front hands and two swings. I think you go back to Rafferty here. Setter's out. Gonna go to Rafferty.
Whew, that guy can hit.
Rafferty's fired up
That
about
guy
it
can
too.
hit.
I love it. He's fired up about it.
The Chargers have hope.
Definitely. Oh, they're right in it.
23-21.
If you're a head coach that's any good, and there's no doubt in my mind that Garrett West is, there's no chance they were talking about anything but coming out of this timeout and winning this game. Oh!
Well, they're going to have to play flawless volleyball from here out. And
McDonald gets caught with the changeup off the block. He's in a good position, but it almost just trickles into his lap.
Crandall needs to play flawlessly.
Yep.
No mistakes now, and they have to hope that UNBSJ makes the mistakes or they don't hit a clean winner, right?
Powell now back to serve. Nice pass. Rafferty again. No touch.
And that's it. That's it. The Seawolves go to 2-4 now on the season.
And they win a huge game as far as evening up the tiebreak with these Chargers. These teams now, UNBSJ now 2-4, Chargers now 2-5. And with that win, I'm pretty certain
Chargers
UNBSJ
are 3-3 now. Chargers were
3-2 before?
3-2,
Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. So then that means that UNBSJ likely goes from being in a 6th to now into that 4 spot, I believe.
that's right. Well, Luke, thanks for
thank
having
you.
me on the broadcast.
Great job. Thank
And,
you, thank you everyone for joining in and listening. It's always a good time when UNBSJ comes out with 2 victories on the night, the women's team and the men's team, both winning in the exact same fashion, actually. Both dropped the first set and then won 3 straight.
UNBSJ cannot complain about that.
No, you take that. We defended the house on a beautiful Friday night. I appreciate you tuning in and listening to us. I'm not sure when we're back next. But next time we are, listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll get notifications. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time.